You're looking through sensuality, especially in Hindi films, largely through a male perspective and a male gaze. You have the classic item song in most films today, where the lines between vamp and heroine have merged considerably. Day when a heroine would not be doing a song where she was standing on a stage where there were 500 men who were leering and lusting and groping her. In this day and age, it's considered a very funky thing to do. Alia and Ranbir would be a delightful combination. But I must say that while that's a delightful combination made in heaven or whatever you might want to, wherever you want to call it, Dil Ke Manta Nahin is not an easy act to follow.
You made the statement, in fact, the women have their own fantasies about how they would like to be wooed and made love to. I would like to elaborate because I think same interview में आपने ये भी बोला है कि that Ram Gopal Verma told you that maybe you should think from a male's perspective, male gaze primarily.
Yeah, well, basically what I was trying to get at with मैं ये कहने की कोशिश कर रही थी कि basically ये film industry जो है, right from the boardroom that you go to, where you try to sell your idea, there are generally a male board that decides कि ये idea जो है अपीलिंग है या अपीलिंग नहीं है
जी
और किसके लिए अपीलिंग है जनरली फॉर अ मेल ऑडियंस यू आर लुकिंग थ्रू सेंसुअलिटी स्पेशली इन हिंदी फिल्म्स largely through a male perspective and a male gaze where the female form, whether it's through the item girl, you have the classic item song in most films today where the lines between vamp and heroine have merged considerably. Day when a heroine would not be doing a song where she was standing on a stage where there were 500 men who were leering and lusting and groping her. In this day and age, it's considered a very funky thing to do.
And very acceptable as well.
Very acceptable. I mean, children dance to those songs and everyone's having a great time.
It's become like a status symbol as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Those songs are sometimes popular, sometimes not so. And good for, happy for everybody who's involved in them. But my point is that that's really not my gaze. I feel somewhere that I'm tired of seeing a woman constantly as a male plaything in a Hindi film. I think that what made Jism earth-shattering and very forward and a game changer in 2003 was when you had a lady called Bipasha Basu who played character of Sonia, who actually in the end says to the hero कि ये जिस्म प्यार करना नहीं जानता, जानता है तो सिर्फ भूख, जिस्म की भूख. And he says, you mean you never loved me even for a second? And she says, no, not for a second. I shamelessly utilized you. So she was a woman who had no qualms. That shook things up because for the first time a woman said that it's my body and it feels lust, it does not have any iota of this guilt of love in it. That kind of was a game changer. Not the fact that she showed skin or did not show skin. Not the fact that there was a love scene or there was no love scene in it. Jism today in this day and age is extremely tame in terms of skin show, sensuality, but it had an inherently bold theme. And that's what makes a product bold or not bold, conventional or actually unconventional.
Right.
I don't believe in looking at the female form, or for me, sex is not a bad word.
Absolutely.
I know there's a philosophy in India, in Hindi films especially, like my father told me, he says, Pooja, in Hindi films, bad people have sex, good people fall in love, you know, but I think that's changing considerably.
All right, if you could make one rule that everyone should follow in our society, what would that be?
I think posture less, reveal more. जैसे कहते हैं कि हम we not what we exhibit to the world, we are what we hide. जो हम छुपाते हैं, actually हम वो होते हैं. जो दिखाते हैं वो नहीं होते हैं. So I think that this world could do a lot more with some straight talk, and it's more important to be kind than it is to be right. So let's be kind. The world needs kindness, especially post-COVID.
So that means be like you?
Definitely.
I love you.
How would you define your idea of women empowerment?
Women empowerment is just to be able to be true to yourself. I think this is a great blurb. Okay, be true to yourself, be the real you, but does society actually permit us to be our real selves? So whatever it is that you choose to do, whether it is to be a CEO of a bank, whether it is to be a housewife, whether it is to be a character like Lily, who's a bar dancer, whether you want to kind of embrace motherhood, whether you want to never have kids, whether you want to be a cat mama and a dog mama, whether you want to be a nomad, whether you want to scale mountains, just be yourself, sing your song, because you've got one life and eventually you got to live with yourself. So just dare to be is my mantra. there to be.
All right. Okay. So if you can please say, just sum up these following certain elements in one word. What you feel about these following things in one word. The art of kissing on screen.
Innocence needs to be the approach. The first lesson I learned was on the sets of Sadak many years ago, when I had to kiss my icon in that sense. The only poster I've ever had of an actor on my wall was Sanjay Dutt's. And I had to kiss him when I was all of 18. And I remember my father taking me aside and telling me something that's remained with me for life. And he said, Pooja, if you're going to feel vulgar, it's going to look vulgar. So you need to be able to approach, especially a kissing scene, especially a lovemaking scene, with a great deal of innocence, grace and dignity, because the intention is communicated. So I think kissing, and I must thank Mr. Rahul Bose, because there was a comfort level with him, and he directed me last in a film, ironically, and here I was thrown into his arms. And of course, Danish, who I'd met for the first time and now claim a friend. But I think innocence, dignity, grace.
We had again a very tough act to follow with MM Cream's Part 1. I think MM Cream, according to me, is one of India's most underrated music directors. Of course, he's got his due, World War I more, but he should get a million times over.
Definitely.
He's one of my favorite people, a genius. And what a great album he gave me in the first part.
Now, Pooja, you yourself have been an actress, okay? And you've been one of the actresses, especially in the 90s, who was, many would say, far ahead of your time, because you have, I think, you had no inhibitions about kissing on screen. At that point of time, उतना शायद नहीं था. आपको inhibitions ऐसा नहीं थे. You've done it in quite a few films, in fact.
Well, I didn't kiss as much on screen as I actually, strangely, even though I was never somebody who had a hot body, but I actually wore a lot more swimsuits for photographs than I think most people did in their films.
Okay.
And I was joking with somebody the other day, and I said, you know, when we painted our body or when we wore a swimsuit, we didn't do it for profit in those days.
Right.
It didn't convert to wallpapers and downloads. We did it because it was a fun thing to do. We trusted the photographer. The magazine had a great concept. It was an annual coming out, and you said, hey, this seems aesthetic, this seems fun, and it seemed natural.
Right.
So we did it. And I guess today when people still ask me, why aren't you back on movies, I'm a rather ordinary looking person. I've fought battles with my weight all my life, but I think I have a spirit that is irrepressible, and it is kind of probably on par with the most stunning body out there in time, perhaps, and I think that's what people respond to, and I think eventually that's what makes or breaks somebody in terms of their appeal, is eventually you, not whether I have this hair, or whether it's platinum blonde tomorrow, or whether it's short. I mean, I was appalled with people going on about Aishwarya Rai putting on weight. I mean, you have one of the world's most beautiful women who's just given birth, and even if she had not given birth, and if she decided to put on weight, or if she had put on weight because of whatever reason, how can you sit there and gloat about it? What is the point of discussion there?
No, absolutely. We never carried that, because even personally we are on the same page. All right, my question actually would divert ho gaya. My question was that since you yourself have been an actress, and you have, आपकी जैसे आपने covers की बात करी, आपके कुछ covers काफ़ी controversial भी रहे हैं, and there has been a whole history to, maybe people in today's time शायद उतना उनको पता नहीं हो, लेकिन it was way ahead of their times.
It was because I guess why I was ahead of my times is because I spoke my mind, and I lived my life according to my dictates, and I kind of had my parents I was answerable to, I had my God I was answerable to, and as long as my conscience was clear, I went out and lived my life fully and unashamedly. And I think that is what is bold or not bold, not whether you are in a swimsuit or not in a swimsuit, whether you take your clothes off or not, whether you curse or you don't. I think it is eventually in every action, in every day and every moment of your life. When my father compares this to a last tango in Paris, what he means only is that you don't see Hindi films touching upon the feeling of the solitude that people and human beings feel after a sexual encounter. You end up feeling lonelier when there is a sexual encounter that's not probably backed by feeling.
At the same time, you've been part of like a film like Dil Hai Ki Manta Nahin, which is, I think, one of the ultimate romantic films.
Yeah.
So when will you have plans of remaking Dil Hai Ki Manta Nahin?
No, I don't have plans of remaking
with
Dil Hai Ki
Ranbir
Manta Nahin.
Kapoor.
I have dreams of remaking Dil Hai Ki Manta Nahin. There's a huge difference in a plan and a dream. Though they say a plan is, you know, you first give birth to a plan when you dream it. But I think that if Dil Hai Ki Manta Nahin had to be made in this day and age, I think Ranbir Kapoor, who I think is absolutely fabulous, a more than worthy successor to Amir Khan, because he would bring to it the same effortlessness, he would bring to it the same amount of charm, and as well as a certain amount of humor. That's an intelligent humor, which is what Amir brought to Dil Hai Ki Manta Nahin.
Right.
And I think that Alia is a better version of me.
Right, you've
and I
said
think
that.
Alia and Ranbir would be a delightful combination. But I must say that while that's a delightful combination made in heaven or whatever you might want to, wherever you want to call it, Dil Hai Ki Manta Nahin is not an easy act to follow.
But maybe a sequel to it, in a way.
Who knows? Who knows?
With new
if
actors.
Alia and Ranbir are listening, and so is my father because he'll have to write it,
Right.
then maybe we'll have a film soon.
Absolutely. You've also said, I intend to make films that are anything but safe.
Yes, I said that to
You're
my
making a
friend
film-
Rama, in fact, online, because we were talking about something and I said that yes, I do not wish to I want to be the outsider. I want to live my life on that edge. I'm not interested in being an insider. I'm going to finish this movie. I'm going to run away to my farm. I'm going to immerse myself under my waterfall. I'm going to travel the world.
Plant trees as well.
I'm going to plant my trees and I'm going to listen to my Etta Jones and to my Edith Piaf and listen to my kind of, music that makes me cut off from this world, and then find a new location to fall in love with, find a new story to fall in love with, and then bring that forward to the audience like a gift I give them. And then they are free to reject that gift. But I have to give them what I love. I can't give them what you're telling me that I should tell them to love. I can't give them what the market is dictating to me.